Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy.
So our story continues strangely in what looks like a pitch-black room, potentially within the mind of Ultra Vegito. As seen at a table would be Goku, while a folded-arm Vegeta would look on, but not too happy.
Nom 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 nom.
As soon we'd get a close-up and realize Goku would be sat stuffing himself on what is literally imaginary food, scoffing down plate after plate, and slurping down ramen noodles like it was breathing air.
Kakarot!
All while an increasingly getting frustrated Vegeta, biding his time, would grit his teeth until...
Clown! Will you stop eating for 1 second? We don't even need to eat in here!
As exploding with fury, the prince would then erupt into a scream right into Goku's ear, leaving the Saiyan bewildered. But as Goku would then turn to Vegeta, with his mouth still full of Baobon, he would say,
What's your problem? You want some as well? There's plenty here!
Before Goku would then finally swallow his food and continue nonchalant. It's not like we have anything else to do in here. We may as well enjoy it.
Yes, Kakarot! Exactly that! We have nothing to do! Nothing to save! We're slaves within this freak, as he does as he pleases! He doesn't get the job done, and this is going to be another failure of a so-called tournament. That is, if we don't get out here and take things into our own hands.
But Goku would just stand up and say, And what do you want me to do about that? I'm just as stuck in here as you. We had to fuse with him to have any chance against Lucif. At least, we managed to get him away from Earth and Universe 7. He's technically made things safe again. But Vegeta would just quip back.
No, you clown! Lucif's gone, but the merger of realms is still active. All our loved ones, or what's left, are still probably dealing with countless demons flowing through. I can accept we don't have a choice in this tournament, but these weaklings he's picking are nowhere near our level. We need to be out there, and you need to tell him to find a way. Use your instant transmission to get out of here, just like you did to stop Jiren.
As the prince would calculatingly immediately call back to a breakthrough moment from the past. Goku, you can do that? As Trunks, listening in, having never been there when this happened, would be completely confused over a capability like that. But Goku would turn to him and say, Yeah, I mean I only did it once, and it was temporary. I used to go from the afterlife into the living world like that as well. But I only have a few minutes before I go straight back where I came from. But even if I did, it wouldn't make a difference. Vegito is probably thinking he's too weak after losing to that other one so easily. His pride is yours, Vegeta. He won't allow himself to get any weaker by letting us out.
Useless! So we're stuck being lambs led to the slaughter. Vegito and this team of strangers will do nothing. Relying on him never got us anywhere, ever.
Leaving Vegeta now to just express his extreme annoyance and pessimism. And shared by Trunks, looking down defeated, the future warrior would let out, "I guess you were right in the end, father. Vegito and I may both be god killers, but we really are different. He wants to do this on his own. He always does. Why doesn't he realize? With you, with Goku, we could really win this. Just like you won that tournament of power." But just as the Saiyans would enjoy this somber moment, things would be broken up by a sudden and deep clapping of hands, followed by a voice saying,
"My, how the mighty have fallen. Looks like you finally know what it feels like to be trapped against your will."
As then revealed would be Goku Black himself. One of the first forced to fuse with Vegito, as with a sadistic and smug smile, he would continue, "I'm sure you both enjoyed that short time you had out there, until Vegito's return. But looks like you finally learned. You damn Saiyans are just as expendable as me. You were a means to an end, freed only so you could bide time until he came back. How does it feel?" As rubbing it in further, zooming in on his face, he would add, "And now look how low all your morals are. Like you've accepted death. Who could blame you? That mortal is attempting to defy elder gods now. He's lost his damn mind. He couldn't even deal with Lucifer, but thinks he'll win a tournament against powers like that. No more boo absorption as well. Yeah, we're all done for. That is, unless you all decide to stop moping around and help that Saiyan win this tournament from within here." What does he mean? As on that final line, Goku, Vegeta and Trunks would be left completely lost for words, thinking all their options were done and only Vegito could be relied on, now challenged by Goku Black of all people. As the original God Killer would then explain, "You two haven't grown so old you can't remember how Vegito got so strong in the first place, do you? When he was trapped for 10 years by that Grand Priest? How did he emerge even stronger than before? Strong enough to deal with both angels and gods? It was you! You made him stronger by constantly training and getting stronger yourselves. You may not be able to fight in the tournament and win that way, but you could still control the outcome in other ways. I don't care either way. I'm already dead regardless. But for you, the choice is yours, you filthy Saiyans." And in response, Goku would just stare forward in what appears to be deep thought, just muttering, "Vegeta, what he's saying, he's right." As just like that, the completed Seraphim of Goku would return, first seen in his archangel state, but now mastered in his base form. It would be a sign that actually, the Universe 7 Saiyans we know and love would still have their own parts to play. But just as we would leave one set of legendary Saiyans, a new one would enter our screens in the shape of Shallot, who appeared mysteriously, claiming to have escaped the demon realm and achieved the same third demonic eye as Vegito.
You! Maybe you're the Saiyan Hit sent me here for. That eye. You say you escaped the demon realm? So that must mean you are.
It means I have become the devil. As finishing Vegito's sentence, Shallot would proclaim his victory over all the demon emperors and the final devil of his demon realm, just like Vegito.
Brother! What are you saying? What have you been through during all these years?
As Kamba, hearing this from behind, would have no clue what any of this would mean, shocked even to see his missing brother finally return, but astounded by his new look. But Vegito, not able to comprehend this, would fold his arms and comment,
Impossible! You're no fusion, no absorption of any gods. A plain Saiyan that could do all of that? I'm not buying it. But even if you did, how the hell did you manage to escape? There's no merger of realms here.
I don't need to explain anything to the likes of you! But refusing to explain much, Shallot would instantly move himself into a strange fighting stance, just yelling, "There's more than one way to skin a cat, and I'm not the kind of guy that can ever be trapped."
Yeah? We'll see about that once you're with Cronoa.
But Vegito, not taking any chances, would quickly bring up his arms too, opting for Goku's fighting stance and preparing himself thoroughly for this mysterious Saiyan turned devil. And in a flash, Shallot would prove Vegito's cautious nature right, as with extreme speed on another level to Kamba, he would approach right for a wide-eyed Vegito. He's strong! As their first meeting would involve Shallot missing his first punch, as Vegito would have his counter in retaliation grabbed and stopped by Shallot, who would instantly sense the God Killer's power. But not strong enough! As following this, the ancient Saiyan would catch Vegito off guard and with a rising kick, almost reaching his own head, would slam the God Killer far into the sky.
Lucky shot, kid!
His body now soaring as he would grumble in annoyance. There's nothing lucky about this. You're just outclassed, old man. As suddenly reaching right up to Vegito's face, even though there was such a distance, Shallot would finish his sentence, pushing both his palms right into the God Killer's stunned and confused face. And with a mighty roar, ready to kill without mercy, as expected of a true devil, Shallot would explode out of his hands, a generously large energy beam that visually incinerates Vegito on the spot. As even in the aftermath, a pitch-black void of smoke would be left coming off, like Vegito's body had been burnt to a crisp. But like a freak, as expected of the mutant hodgepodge amalgamation known as Ultra Vegito, he would instantly come out from the cloud in a strange white ghostly shape and target Shallot's vulnerable hind. What the hell is this?
This is how a true devil fights, child!
As suddenly wrapping himself around Shallot like a strange snake, the white-skinned ghost Vegito would trap Shallot's body, freezing him into a sausage-like position entrapped in casing. As now, grabbing onto his mouth, muffling his voice, Vegito would yell,
Now, enough of your bold lies, fake devil! You want to go to another dimension? Then I'll take you there!
As soon after that comment, Shallot would find himself being overtaken by a bright shining light and, in a sudden explosion, now it would be both Devil Saiyans that would be caught together in fire, all while below, Kumba and his blonde hair would be watching.
Brother!
But having easily been defeated by Vegito's third eye form, and now seeing Shallot suddenly keep up with him, Kumba couldn't help but reflect.
Your power is nothing like it used to be! Right now, you're fighting at a level I couldn't keep up with even if I tried. Interfering right now would do you more harm than good.
As just like that, Kumba would return to base abruptly, before slamming his behind onto the ground, sitting down, just muttering,
It's been a long time since I saw you defeat an opponent, but I've also never seen you lose. Show me what you've learned, my brother. So you survived. Not bad, actually.
As the scene would then turn swiftly to Vegito, his hands on his hips, unfazed by the joint explosion.
No more games.
You're a threat to this entire universe, and I can sense it. Not even the former devil gave me vibes as bad as yours. As swiping his hand to brush away the smoke, Shallot, with his overcoat now destroyed, would stare deeply at the God Killer. But things would get interesting when Shallot's body would suddenly begin vibrating from side to side at extreme speed. His face becoming a blur of momentum until... all around Vegito would now be multiple clones of Shallot, but they would seem more like after images created by his speed rather than just pure copies.
Is this supposed to be scary? Even Krillin or Yamcha could pull off something like this.
But Vegito, already moving his hands and arms readying himself, would seem completely still in control. Not a drop of worry on him until... something, just something, would appear off for a moment.
Hold on! Where did...
As looking down, like he had suddenly been transported to the surface of the sun, yellow light would encompass his entire face before... right below him somehow would be a giant beam of energy, truly Godzilla-like in size, as the God Killer would appear as a mere ant in comparison, still being distracted and surrounded by the speed clones of Shallot.
Damn it!
And before he would know it, Vegito would be taken completely in. Blasted straight off the surface of this all-new planet in Konoha's multiverse. and below would be the assailant. Shallot on the ground with his palms facing the sky, having pulled off an attack not too dissimilar to the attack Trunks used to finish off Cell in Dragon Ball Z. Not bad. Yeah, I'm excellent, I know. As grinning, enjoying as his beam would reach further and further into the sky, Shallot would watch on intently, ultimately leading to an explosion far up in the atmosphere that would now look minuscule from this distance. Leaving off falling like a meteor Vegito to now descend in free fall to the ground below. Crashing brashly. Hope you watched closely, Kumba. As always, they all fall. As Shallot now would be casually beginning to walk up towards the corpse. Eventually reaching him, just a smoky mess on the floor, with only his Saiyan boots able to be seen. Shallot would then look down solemnly and say, "You came to the wrong planet. You seem like a Saiyan though. I wonder where you came from. But I guess it's just fate. You die in the end by your own kind." Wait! What? But shockwaves would run through the ancient Saiyan's body and burst open all three of his eyes when he would see... Who the hell is that? When unbelievably, in a switcheroo, the body that would fall down to the ground would be a corpse of none other than Kazuya, a clone to confuse the hell out of Shallot, as he would stay staring, second-guessing everything. Over there! As with his instincts still being elite, not long after he would turn his head rapidly to look behind and... At his tail, the real Vegito would be there with his arms in a signature position until... As now it would finally be Vegito's turn to send out a massive blast of his own, electrified at that. The beam sent soaring through the air at breakneck speeds right towards Shallot. But Shallot being Shallot would continue to impress, zigzagging across the beam to dodge it perfectly and run beside it. As strangely, he too would then place his hands together in an identical fashion to the Kamehameha wave. Jumping straight up into the sky before yelling, "Onion! What the? Is that the turtle wave?" Surprising Vegito, who would look on in curiosity, just like all of us. Blast! As even unleashing the attack just like a Kamehameha from right above Vegito, Shallot would let loose his mysterious Onion Blast. Give me that! As in an even more shocking turn of events, Vegito, for the first time, would showcase a new skill, simply taking in the entire beam of Shallot's, but through his mouth, almost as if he had found a new way to absorb energy. The end result being Shallot watching, still smoke coming off his hand, as reeling back in pain, Vegito would also have smoke coming out of his mouth. But as these grunts would get louder, so too would the depth of the atmosphere around Vegito increase as well.
Don't worry, I didn't absorb that. I just wanted to feel the pain.
You really are a freak. I need to put you down. As the two Devil Saiyans would just stare at each other with two very different versions of smiles. Looks like this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. Time to step things up. As in response now, Shallot would pull back his arms tensed into another fighting stance.
No! I've more than had my fill of this. Like your brother you call Kamba. It's time I end this and get back to recruiting. Though, you have done well to see this form.
As on saying that, Vegito would then begin spontaneously powering up, yelling to the skies as bolts of lightning would spark up in all directions, coming directly from his body. And as this power-up would continue, it would become all the more clear just what form Vegito was entering, as half his hair would turn white and the clothes made of his energy would suddenly appear on his body in black. And as the aura would continue to burst in all directions, finally, Vegito would return to his final God-Killer form, gained after the reabsorption of Goku, Vegeta and Trunks, as he would let out,
Remember this sight well, Shallot. This is the kind of power you will need to attain to be of any use to me.
Huh? Use to you? What is that power? It goes beyond the devil. As Shallot would just watch on stunned at the God-Killer's new presence. As in a flash, Vegito would change positions to be right behind Shallot. His hand rested softly on his shoulder. How did you? As a trembling Shallot would then slowly turn his head around and... only to be met with a swift karate chop right onto his nose and without warning. Why you? But just as Shallot would move back from this sudden strike, Vegito would move in close, a scary, serious expression on his face before... Just like that, the God-Killer would unleash absolute hell on the ancient Saiyan, firing off a barrage of attacks that are so fast it would look like Vegito had multiple limbs. And with no defense to this, Shallot would just be forced back. Finishing the barrage with a single uppercut that lands flush under the ancient Saiyan's chin, as blood would splatter out from his mouth. Transitioning immediately into a speedy U-turn to Shallot's back, culminating in a violent elbow to the back of his neck, brutally damaging his literal vertebrae. But as this beatdown would go down in the sky, Kamba would notice that things had taken a drastic turn, just as it did with him. Getting up quickly, he would say,
Shallot, what are you doing? You can't lose. You never lose. I'm coming, brother!
And just like that, he would explode into action, shooting into the sky in a bright yellow aura.
Get off him!
And within moments, Vegito would be in his sights, holding onto Charlotte's body by just his skull.
Wrong move, Cumber!
But it would not go unnoticed by the God Killer, who, turning his head abruptly, would subtly activate a certain technique.
Unhand me, beast!
As his flight would come to a rapid stop when an apparition of the late God of Destruction candidate, Topo, of course amplified with Vegito's energy, would emerge to bear hug him. But things would not stop there, as when Cumber would look in front, Makoto would appear, and with his sword ready to be unsheathed. And with a lightning-fast slash, as expected of the expert samurai, Makoto would make his move with an immediate blood spray from Cumber's black silhouette. And once we'd see Cumber's stunned expression, from his neck, a perfect incision would be made. One that would definitely leave him out for the count. As at the very same time, Vegito would let go of Charlotte. The two bodies, like synchronized dancers, falling flat onto the ground. And with that, Vegito's foot would make its approach also. And now standing over Charlotte's unconscious body, with his eyes now having gone blank, he would coldly say,
Done and done. I'm glad Cumber wasn't the only one here. That would have been a big disappointment. They're hurt now, but they'll live. But even this Charlotte guy isn't enough. If any of these fighters in the tournament are like that Omni Vegito, I'm going to need at least 5 more fighters. Maybe someone even stronger than me.
But as Vegito would have these thoughts, behind him, like clockwork, a portal would open again.
Hit! Well done, old friend. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Tell me, who do you have for me net?
But his face suddenly would become surprised when...
Get in here! Bring those two and get in here now!
As out of nowhere, Cronoa alone would appear, coming out of the gate with a ghastly face unlike her normal look, clearly stressed and beyond enraged. She would order the God Killer. And so, not long after, the scene would shift to Vegito arriving through the portal, with an unconscious Cumber and Charlotte in tow, hand in hand, dragging them along. Before, like two pieces of trash, he would roughly chuck them in front, right at the feet of Cronoa and Goro, the Red Warrior, now clearly having accepted his fate to fight, and tamed by the Elder God to follow orders just like Vegito. But looking around, Vegito would soon realize they were somewhere they hadn't been before. A plain white room with nothing in sight. As Vegito would then question,
So what's the big deal? Why bring us here so panicked? I need to get more members, don't I? Time is running out.
To which the still annoyed Cronoa would just respond, Time. We are out of time. As going on to explain more, she would continue. The tournament. Zeus has finally announced when it will be. It will be in 2 hours from now.
What?
As on that bombshell, both Vegito and even Goro would be left lost for words, neither expecting such a life and death deciding tournament being held anywhere so soon.
What the hell do you mean 2 hours? My team? You're saying my team will just be these 3? 3? You're sending us to our deaths!
The result being an explosion of rage from Vegito, knowing all too well this was not in his plans. But Cronoa, trying to add some light, would explain, "We don't have a choice. Zeus is the supreme leader of the elder gods, and he makes the call. This is the exact reason why someone like him needs to be replaced. The reason we need to win. He has done this clearly to spite the other elder gods from having any kind of chance of beating his creations, but mostly to spite Akobel and I. But listen to me, there is a silver lining here. I and I alone have the power to control time. And in here, in this time chamber, you will have near infinite time to train. We may only have 3 of them, but 100 years from now, they could be titans.
100 years? Are you mad, woman? I'm not training for all that damn time! Lucif is dying now, not when I've gone senile!
But such a suggestion would just enrage Vegito even more, sending him into a crazy frenzy even. It all ending in a defeated, in disbelief Vegito then grabbing his head, like he was suffering from the biggest migraine, and falling to his knees continuing,
No! This won't do! This won't do at all! Shallot was okay, but these other 2 are nothing special! Not enough to win this! I planned so much! If this is all I have, then I need them!
As suddenly, Vegito would realize the only team that could save him right now was the one within. As behind him, thoughts of Goku, Vegeta, Broly, and Yamoshi would appear to him instantly. Huh? Who? As in a final panel, Cronoa witnessing this breakdown would have no idea what Vegito was thinking. But with no boo abilities allowed here, just what will Vegito do now? Find out on the next exciting episode of UV.
But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag them in the comments down below and let me know just what is going on in this preview. Or just find out right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,700 other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.